I am a sheepdog.
I have a subconscious and moral burden
to protect and help the people around me.
I believe in safety, responsibility,
and the God-given right to defend myself and others
from the wolves who seek to steal, kill, and destroy.
I defend the Second Amendment
by properly representing what it means to be a gun owner.
I will put aside my doubts,
my fears, and my excuses.
I will be trained, I will be ready.
I will be confident, and I will be prepared.
While some sheepdogs are born, most are made.
Becoming a sheepdog is a choice.
A new way of thinking and a new identity.
An alter ego that you must step into.
We are patriots.
We are defenders of liberty.
We protect those we love.
We are sheepdogs.
I was like,
sorry guys, there's a sound.
Oh, you did not.
We were just testing you.
Are you kidding me?
Okay, let's do that again. You ready? Hold on a second.
So much
hold on. What's up, guys?
What's up? I'm always so surprised when I see, like, I don't know when it's going to happen, right?
That's literally what she said the first time.
But you push the button so you know, and then I just see my face and I'm like, oh my gosh, do I look okay?
Yeah.
But so what I was thinking, so we missed you guys last week because we took the kids Halloween trick-or-treating, right? And I realized when I poured my glass of wine, I was like, oh my goodness, because I typically just drink on Monday nights a glass of wine.
No, I'm consistent.
I was like, holy smokes, I haven't had a glass of wine in like 2 weeks. So I poured it extra big, and then I've been waiting so long for the live to start, so I'm already like half in.
Oh, half in.
Yeah.
All right, so what do you think about our question here?
That's the way Ryan likes half in.
Just a tip.
No, not that. That's not what I meant.
I asked the question, if you guys could own any animal,
okay,
and the animal could not eat you, what animal would it be? And we got some funny answers here.
But the reason you asked that question is because I asked you and Jackson this question the other day, and I was so surprised that Jackson, my 8-year-old, was like, I want to be a giant bat.
No, not be a giant bat. He wants to own a giant bat so that it could fly him around.
He wants to own a giant bat. I was like, really? I was not expecting that. Like, I was expecting a lion or a tiger.
It's a weird thing to want.
But then somebody else said they'd like to be a whale. And
the whale is a weird one.
But it's also kind of cool. Like, nothing eats the whale, right?
Sharks do. Great whites do.
They eat whales?
Yeah. I've seen that. I'm pretty sure I saw that on a video.
Being a whale would probably be pretty cool because you just float, right? You can eat a whole bunch because you're fat, and you just float. Eating fish. Blowing out your hole.
They eat plankton, Tiffany. They don't eat fish. Microscopic little shrimp. Like, what freaking school did you go to? Is this the quality of the...
I don't want to be a whale. Listen, nobody cares about what whales eat. Let's be honest. Nobody cares.
Okay, so...
It's never been in one of my job applications. What do whales eat? Never in my life.
Yeah, it's because you've... Yeah, never mind.
Of course, Todd wants to be a honey badger. Wants to be the most vicious.
Michelle is talking about a cockroach. I find that to be a strange animal to want. But Greg wants to own a wolf. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah?
Unicorn, a mermaid.
Okay.
Do you remember that documentary?
I don't want to own a wolf.
Do you remember that documentary like 10 years ago where they tried to pretend that mermaids were real?
Oh, yeah.
And they had all this footage of mermaids and stuff. It's pretty funny.
Who wants to own a tiger just because they watch Tiger King? That's the question. That's the real question.
I want to own a tiger ever since I found out a tiger only costs $5,000. When I found out that I could buy a tiger for $5,000.
Didn't you just speak to somebody, though, that told you that if you own a lion, that they owned?
No, that was Mike Tyson. I was listening to an interview with Tyson, and Tyson said...
Very credible.
Very credible. Tyson said, so my animal, if I could pick any animal to own, it would be a lion.
Okay.
Because how cool would I be? You know, normally I'm driving down the road in my golf cart, right? White Lightning or Black Thunder.
With the dogs.
You guys didn't know.
With
my dogs running behind me. But how dope would I be if I had a massive 500-pound lion
Pretty sure,
running down the road.
not 100%, pretty sure someone's going to call the cops.
Potentially.
Don't think that's legal.
So Tyson was saying that he said, so Tyson, when he was in prison one of the times, whatever, he said like the guy that used to sell him cars was talking to him on the phone, and the dude was like, "Hey, Mike, I can get you some tigers and lions, bro." And Tyson was like, "Dude, I'm in.
Awesome.
Like, get me some tigers and lions."
Let's do it.
So he said lions are like owning a big dog. They're
Right.
just like dogs, and they're super chill and just want to hang out or whatever. But he said tigers, they'll freaking hunt you. Like they are hunting you. So I would pick a lion.
Not cool. Not doing a tiger. Yeah, $1,000 or so a month in food. Exactly. That's
You just got to round up the neighborhood cats, Katora. Feed that thing for free.
Could do didn't Tiger King resort when he was broke, kind of resort to roadkill and stuff. I think that's what
Roadkill,
they did. But
yeah.
I mean, that's not something that you do not want to be taking care of a hungry tiger.
The only negative that I have is picking up the crap. It bothers me to pick up our dog's crap. Imagine a tiger crap has got to be like this.
But do you have to clean up the crap when it's in a pen?
I don't know. Where does he think it goes?
I don't know. I just don't think it's a good idea that we own a tiger, period. I just think we should stick to dogs. That's my opinion.
Okay.
So.
Life and Death, Baby Dragon.
Okay, somebody said number one show on Monday Night Live. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah. Suck it, Regis Philbin.
I think he's dead.
I don't care. We still win.
No, he died. That's why we win.
Oh, okay.
He's been on the air
we win
for
by default. I don't
40
care.
years.
Okay.
It's not cool if we win because they're dead.
Okay,
Anyway.
T-Rex. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
So why don't you share, Tiff, the crazy story that happened to you with the lady in our driveway a couple days ago?
Yeah. So this is okay.
If anybody wants to kidnap Tiffany, this is the way to do it.
This is the way to kidnap me, but it's also just goes to show, I was saying to Ryan, I'm like, that's a sheepdog thing, right? Because we talk about being a sheepdog, carrying everywhere that you should go and, protecting your family and stuff. But it's so much more than that, right? It's watching out for others. It's watching out for people in the supermarket. Every time Ryan and I go to a carnival, all Ryan does, he's scanning. And why is he scanning?
Why? Because carnies are on meth.
Not just for bad guys, but because there's a lot of kids that slowly move away from their parents, and Ryan can tell right away. He sees them looking around, kind of scared, and he's like, "Did you lose your mom?" And then right away he's in there, figure out where, what does she look like? So it's not just about protecting yourself and your family with a firearm, but it's also being that watchful eye and ready to protect and ready to jump in if somebody has a flat tire on the side of the road and things like that, right? Obviously doing that cautiously, but
get to the story.
Here's the story.
You're telling this whole back crap.
That's this, okay? It makes me babble a little, but I think that's how I got you to marry me. I don't know.
That's not the reason.
That's how I got you in bed. So Ryan and I never drive together to drive Paisley. This is the first time.
Ever, yeah.
So Paisley jumped in the car. I went to take her to school, and then I'm like, oh, you didn't get to say goodbye to Dad. So we found him on his walk, and he jumped in. So we drove Paisley to school. We came back. As soon as I pulled in my driveway, this car pulls up super fast. And this lady jumps out of the car, and she's screaming, crying.
Hysterical.
My baby, you're a mom. You have kids. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what's the matter? And she's like, my kid, he had his vaccine the other day, and his leg is swollen, and he's limping, and I don't know what to do, and I don't know where to go, and I know that you have kids. And I'm like, okay, no problem. Ryan, get my purse. And then I was I open her car door. I'm like, I'm coming in. And then I'm like, can I pray for your kid first? And she's like, go ahead. So I quickly lay hands on her baby. He's I think 3 years. He just turned 3. Prayed that Jesus would protect him. And then I jumped in her car, and I was like, Ryan comes back. He says, I can't find your purse, but here's money. And he throws me a wad of cash. And so I said, let's go. And I took her. She didn't know where to go. She, heard.
Yeah, so she was freaking out because she didn't know where the hospital was.
Well, she heard that Brandon Hospital wasn't the best spot. So she's like, where do you take your kid? So I'm like, I take him to this spot anytime anything happens, because, as long as he's breathing okay, and as long as it's not a dire emergency, they will evaluate him really fast and then decide if you should, go to a emergency pediatrician or whatever. So long story short, I jump in her car and I'm like, just drive. And I'd never met her before or anything. And she's like, I'm so thankful. She's crying and she's freaking out. So we drive to the place. We get her son checked out. Turns out he's okay. Just needs to go on some steroids and stuff like that. But, all the way, Ryan's like, are you okay? Texting me. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'll be back in about an hour or so. So anyway, super crazy. What's that, Monday morning?
I think it was Friday.
Oh, it's Friday morning. So super crazy. I was very happy that I was able to just jump in and help. But that's what, being a sheepdog is all about, right? Just being able to help people when they need help, being that kind of calm, voice of reason, stuff like that.
She was freaking out. It was unbelievable how hysterical she was.
So at first I was like, maybe she's just overreacting, right? But then when we got to the urgent care and I saw his leg, like the normal leg is like this, it was like swollen. Instead of his kneecap being like this, his kneecap was like this, like huge. And he was limping and stuff like that. So, every right to be a little freaked out just over a regular, this wasn't the COVID vaccine. This is just like a regular,
flu shot.
No, it wasn't even a flu shot. It was like your lockjaw and your tetanus and all the regular things that the kids have to get
Do
in
people
order to
get
go to school.
lockjaw shots? Is that a thing?
Yeah, you got to have it every 10 years. You're probably back
I've
now.
never had a freaking lockjaw shot.
Guaranteed. You had the anthrax. Tell everybody about that because when he had the anthrax shot, his whole arm was like bubbled up.
Yeah, you guys know if you were in the military. So they poke you like 50 times or 10 times or whatever, I don't know, in your arm.
I almost
And then they
didn't
say,
marry you.
don't even touch it. You can't even wash it because if you wash it everywhere that it spreads, the anthrax will all spread.
It was like a whole bunch of blisters. It was
it was crazy.
grody.
Okay, Couture's husband's having a beer with me. That's awesome.
Oh, yay. We love you. Because some people, some people don't think that drinking is okay, but
We call those people losers.
I just have a glass of wine on Monday night. I don't know. I enjoy a nice, fine glass of wine.
Yeah. My favorite thing to do is file my taxes drunk so that if the IRS says that I did something illegal, I'd be like, I was intoxicated. And Joe Biden told me to do it.
Does that work? I was
I don't know.
intoxicated.
We'll see when we get audited.
That just might,
I'm sorry, sir. My name is Hunter
Lockjaw
Biden.
is tetanus. Okay, yeah, I don't know. You get a tetanus shot, right? Like everybody has to have a tetanus shot like every 10 years or something like that. So, I don't know. I'm not working. I'm always watching over. Yes, exactly. That's the thing. Like it's a conscious decision to just watch out for people around you, right? Because a lot of people just aren't paying attention. There's a lot of young girls that are just on their phone, but then you see the creepy guy like in the corner, like checking her out and following her, and she has no idea, but you see it. So why wouldn't you, take action and be like, you know what, I'm going to follow the guy out too. Like
What I do is I just say something. Like, you got a problem, bro?
Whatever
what
it
are you
is, whatever it is, but that's what it is teaching yourself to have a watchful eye. And I think we had to do that a lot just because we were in children's ministry for so long. We had to really watch and pay attention.
The inner city is what kind of changed that for me, I think, is where I really started paying attention because it was such a dangerous environment. But, and then just learning, the more you learn about all the crazy shit that's happening in society, the more you...
Even though you're only 39, you kind of take a daddy, Papa Bear approach. Like when you saw that young girl changing her tire, kind of on the side of the road and being freaked out, you pulled over and you were kind of having that watchful eye as a man, being like, this young girl needs help and I don't want some, I know that I'm a good guy. I don't want some creep, pulling up on her. And you kind of take that. Maybe it's because you have a daughter that's 13.
Maybe.
Or...
We're not 100% she's my daughter, but... All right, so this is an incident that happened right down the street from us, actually. So this happened in the Copper Ridge subdivision.
It was in Copper Ridge?
Copper Ridge, yeah.
Well, I knew it happened. I didn't know it was in Copper Ridge.
Yeah, super crazy. So this dude just randomly kicked in this guy's door in Copper Ridge, which is literally 3 minutes away from our house.
Yeah.
And then he just started attacking the guy. Started attacking him, beat him to a very bloody pulp.
They said he left
was
him for
unconscious.
Dead. Left him for dead.
Yeah.
He thought he was dead.
This guy stole a couple guns and then just took off. And I guess this guy actually lived in the same area, maybe a few doors down.
Yeah.
So the wife started dialing 911 because she was calling the husband and texting him, and the dude wouldn't respond because he was passed out, just unconscious on the ground. Police showed up. Kick in the door. They find the victim just laying on the ground, and then they arrested this guy. He had the guns in his car, admitted to committing the crime. Like, what are your thoughts about that?
So did they say like they thought it was targeted? They knew. So
It doesn't really say that it's targeted, but it just says that he stole multiple firearms.
Okay.
So what's
So-
interesting here is, did this aggressor know that the victim
Yeah.
had the guns?
that's what I'm saying. Like, some people put those little signs like protected by the Second Amendment and stuff. I don't think that's ever wise.
Okay.
I don't think it stops people.
It doesn't stop bad guys. Criminals don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to know, honestly, if you're going to bust in my house, I don't want you to know that I have a gun,
Yeah.
right? Because
I voted for Joe. That's the sign on my door. And then when they come in, we'll be like, surprise, Trump! Bah!
No, but I don't think those signs are ever really, or like my family, and they have like the little guns on the back of the car. Like, I don't think that you should ever advocate anything towards guns or violence, because there's also those signs that is like, I don't call 911, I shoot, 3 rounds through the door instead, or whatever it is. Like, I don't think that you should ever announce anything like that, because I think that it can be used against you.
I
in
think
court of
that
law.
a prosecutor can use something like that
Yeah.
against you in court and
And I
just
think
show that
keep
you
it to
have
yourself.
you have a violent intent.
Because, a lot of people, it's so funny because we have people that take some of our classes, fill out a survey, and we ask, what is one of the number one concerns that you're worried about having a gun? And they say, what other people will think. And I think to myself, wow, I never thought that somebody
So
actually,
how many people are concerned about what their friends or family are going to think after they own a gun?
A lot. It's like more than
It's
half.
a lot,
And
yeah.
I was thinking like, okay, but nobody should know. Why
It's
are
nobody's business,
Why are we
right?
telling people? We don't need to tell people. Be a safe and responsible gun owner. Have your firearm locked up so that it's not an issue if your neighbor's kids are going to come over or something like that, right? So if they do ask, do you have guns in the house? Which you should ask if you're letting your kids go to people's house.
Why? Why is that
And
important
some
to ask?
people are going to say like, oh, no, Tiff, bad. Like, none of your effing business. Okay, fine. If I'm letting my kid come to your house, I know Ryan and I have been working with gun owners for 12 years. And unfortunately, there's a large chunk of gun owners that think that it's okay to keep their firearms loaded and unlocked.
And under a couch cushion.
And they
I literally met this dude. Do you remember this, Steph? This guy was in a class. I met him and his wife. And the guy was like, I asked him if he owned guns or something, a casual conversation. And he goes, yeah, dude, I have guns. And he was like 50, 60 years old. He's like, I have guns everywhere in my house. I was like, oh, okay. What does that mean? He goes, I have guns underneath my couch
He had,
cushion.
like one behind his toilet.
I got guns Velcroed underneath my table, whatever.
Yeah, and whatever, that's fine. Like the lady that used to work with us, her Marine husband was the same way. Like
Yeah,
he had,
rifle in the bathroom.
Yeah, he had guns everywhere, and that's cool.
Crazy.
That's your right. I'm fine with it. But I don't want my kid coming to your house, right? My young teenager or whatever coming to hang out at your house because you have guns that are randomly placed, not locked up, and you may forget one, right? Especially if you leave them out all the time. So my whole point of this is not every time, a lot of times when you see an accidental shooting in the paper, somebody left a firearm out to be accessible to others.
Sure.
So it's something that you really got to ask, and because Ryan and I do what we do, I always make it a point when the kids have new friends. I say, we do this. We teach firearm classes. We own a lot of firearms. But I just want you to know the firearms are always securely encased and locked away. There's no way that your child will ever get to it because they are always in a locked, coded gun safe. And my kids do not have the code, right? Because it's just reassuring them that, hey, your kids are safe here. There's no firearms being left out. So before I got into
But
this,
if you expect me to babysit your children, I'm going to have them clean a dozen guns.
No. But what I wanted to say is we see a lot of people are like, oh, you're giving gun owners a bad name. You're saying 80% of them don't lock up their guns. You guys, the couple hundred that are on here, you're the responsible gun owners. But there are a lot, okay, that we see in classes every single day that do not lock up their firearms.
Not even that. Like, when I was at the range today with my beginner's guide to firearms students,
I know.
2 dudes rolled in, and you know something is happening, so I'm shooting with my students. These knuckleheads decide they have one gun, they have 2 lanes at the range. They decide they're going to take the gun from one lane to the other, not in a bag or anything. So the owner, Wilfredo, comes in and is like, hey, you guys are not allowed to do
that.
this.
So they're
it needs to be
waving
in a
guns
bag.
around between lanes.
So this guy's like, I've never heard of this before. This is ridiculous. I overheard him say that after Wilfredo left the room. And I just thought, you're an idiot. you're an idiot, man. Like, this is a rule at every gun range everywhere. But this guy has been violating the gun safety rules for so long, he doesn't even understand the basic principles of gun range etiquette and firearm safety.
Yeah. Well,
and unfortunately, that's most gun owners.
Most people don't know range etiquette. And they think like the range is like bulletproof, right? They don't realize they're like pointing the gun. Like I seen somebody the other day, they were trying to rack the slide, but because they didn't have enough like muscle and they didn't know how to do it properly, right? Because there's a specific way to rack a slide that doesn't take a lot of effort.
Yeah.
But they don't know how to do it. So they turn the gun, loaded, turning the gun to the lane next to them. So
Happens all the time, every day.
that they have enough, Leverage to rack the slide back. Those partitions are not bulletproof. So you're literally pointing a gun right at the next person beside you. And half the time, because people don't know this, their finger's still on the trigger.
Sure.
And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This is so bad.
Yep.
Anyway.
All right. Question number 1 comes from Derwin. Is that a name? Derwin?
Derwin.
Can I change out the stock barrel on my carry gun with a new stainless one without having any issues with Florida law? Yeah, it's totally legal to change out your barrel for whatever you want. Yeah, so when we talk about like modifying a firearm, potentially getting into like some legal problems, it's not that they're legitimate legal problems. It's that the prosecutor, if you have a upgraded trigger on your gun, if you have an optic on your gun, night sights or some type of engraving, whatever, the prosecutor after a self-defense shooting, they're going to take like every option that they have available to try to discredit you and show that you had an intent to just kill people. It's something that's been happening for decades. And unfortunately, just by basic modifications on your gun, the prosecutor is going to say, hey, you know, Derwin, we noticed you put an upgraded barrel in your gun. Why did you put an upgraded, why did you spend $350 to put a higher quality barrel in your gun? And you're probably going to say something like, oh, I wanted increased accuracy.
No, I'm saying because the shit looks cool.
Okay, but then they're going to say, oh, so you wanted to kill people easier? That's what he wanted. And they're going to paint this whole picture of stuff like that. Even though we all know that it's complete BS, it's total nonsense.
To give Tiff's answer.
Right. So
cool.
You have to kind of think about that when you're getting deposed and you're giving your statement in the trial, that you're not like giving them something that they can actually use in the future. So you're saying something like, I just wanted my gun to look cool. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Or my wife said I could spend $300 this month and I decided to buy a barrel. There's no other reason besides that. Yeah. So that, you know, you don't give them more than they can use.
Yeah. But it's totally fine. There's nothing that like goes against Florida law. And I also want to say, like, you know, because we talk about this, like having to use your firearm in self-defense, that they're going to use everything possible that they can against you. And that is true. However, the best thing that you can do for yourself is read the Florida Concealed Carry Law book and the Florida Shoot Don't Shoot book, because the more cut and dry you can make your case, the less they're going to bother digging into it. If it looks very cut and dry, like, yes, this was 100% self-defense, there was imminent threat, you know, you had every right to use your firearm, you were doing nothing illegal, and you check off all the boxes, the prosecutor's not going to bother coming after you.
They're always coming after you.
Because it doesn't make sense. Well, there's some that they just write off because you really did, you know, you followed everything and you were totally within your rights, totally within the law. So the best thing that you can do is
have a deep understanding of the rules.
Yes, understanding of the rules, know exactly when you're allowed to shoot, when you're not, and have like Ryan's 4 questions, you know.
Read the book, Tiffany.
Sorry,
please.
5 questions. Ryan's 5 questions, so that for sure if you answer yes to those 5 questions, you know that you were justified. So that's just something to think about.
So What's Up says, I put a new barrel in to blow their lungs out easier. Put that on the list of things not to say.
Yeah, so Michelle said, how can my Punisher engraving of a kitty be evidence of wanting to kill people? And I've actually seen people talk about that, like having the Punisher skull, having like, you know, smile at Flash, or smile for the Flash, things like that. Now, maybe that's something I would put on like my fun, whatever, range guns, but I wouldn't put something like that on my carry gun. I really wouldn't, because they are going to take pictures of that and they are going to show it at your...
And you have to remember, these are not like gun people that are going to be in the jury.
Oh, yeah.
So me as a gun person, I'd be like, I don't care about...
that's super cool,
I don't care about a Punisher thing. I don't care about Smile for the Flash. It means nothing.
But to somebody who's not a gun person, they're like, oh my gosh, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's their reaction. They're like, this person's a killer. So, yeah, you really do got to be careful about stuff like that. Same with the signs, right? The signs are the same thing. They will snapshot.
Same thing with your social media posts.
Yes,
saying dumb crap on the internet where people are like, they're whatever you say on this channel, right? Whatever you say on the Florida Concealed Carry Facebook group.
Yeah.
If you ever shoot somebody, they're going to find that stuff.
Yeah.
And they're going to be like, well, Michelle said this, Michelle said that, Michelle said that. And they're going to try as hard as they can to paint us as bad, evil people to the jury.
Yeah.
And again, you have to remember, their job is to get a conviction or to get a plea. And they're going to use everything they can. So we need to give them as little as possible.
Very true. Okay, go next one because we've got a lot.
Okay. This is an interesting violent attack that happened at a convenience store. So let's watch this.
Come on, man.
Oh, y'all tripping, man.
Man, get it. Get it back. Got one of y'all, boy. Grab the back, me. Grab the back.
Shit crazy, man.
Come on, y'all. Come on.
No, let me cross.
Hey, come on, man. Let's go. Hey, let's go.
Okay. The first thing that I have to say is these people really suck at being criminals. They need to go back,
a great plan.
take some community college classes, learn how to rob a convenience store. Because maybe
you should release a course.
One of the strategies when you're robbing a convenience store is to not live stream it.
They were live streaming it?
That first video was the criminal videotaping it and then uploaded it.
Oh, I thought it was like the gas station.
That's an ending video, but the first footage was he's videotaping it himself. So we don't know the whole story, but it doesn't seem like they were actually trying to get money. It seems like they were just trying to scare the guy, intimidate him, and kind of hurt him.
Yeah, because if you looked, like everyone was just kind of huddled around. Nobody was like grabbing stuff.
Because the dude had like a bat or whatever, and they were trying to get the stick or the bat. Okay. What's also interesting about this is that convenience store employee thought that by having a little wooden stick with him, that was going to be enough to stop a violent attack by a group of a dozen, 6 thugs.
I feel like these people, these criminals have been trying to do it in groups more, which is more scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any law?
Easier to hit the target.
Yeah. Is there any law, though, that kind of supports, or are you able to kind of use that in trial, let's say, like against an imminent threat, if there's like 6 people against one? Like, does that, I guess that was Rittenhouse.
In my opinion, I think that, our whole goal is to articulate why we had to use our firearm to the jury and get them to believe you, right? Like that's your entire job as like the defendant in a self-defense kind of situation. So I think it's easier to articulate why I was in fear of imminent death when there's 6 people attacking me than when it's just 1, right?
Yeah, because I think it would be easier for them to put themselves in that situation. Like, how scared would I be if somebody was choking me and there were 6 other people? Like, even if I get away from you, now I've got a group, I've got a pack of people that can step in. So very interesting, very scary. I got to
tell you, man.
Because these mobs of people, coming in and rushing stores to steal things and stuff, it's becoming a thing ever since the kind of the riots and stuff in 2020 or whatever it was. It's becoming a more popular thing. We've seen more videos because there's nothing you can do, right? What do you do when you got 20 people rushing?
You drop a flashbang, which is why flashbang should be legalized.
Should be legal.
You drop a flashbang in the crowd and then go to work.
Oh, gosh. All right. What else you got there, Bubby? You
Yeah,
got a question?
mostly peaceful protesters just doing evil things.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I agree, Florida Sheepdog. Let them have the money.
Yeah.
Oh, this whole let them have the money thing actually brings future crimes. Yeah, I kind of agree, dude.
It does, but here's the thing, though.
Like
you're a convenience store worker. You're getting paid like $8-9 an hour. It is not worth your life to protect somebody else's money. It's just not.
But I would agree, Florida Sheepdog, that if we strategically thought about what we were publicizing in the news and only published the videos and the articles and stuff that showed scumbags like this getting dropped by the store owner, I think it would make these criminals
or being prosecuted and being prosecuted hard.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you do this, you're freaking going to jail for a long time.
Long time.
Right?
Yeah.
And if we started doing that, people might think twice.
Okay, you know what's interesting? I think I've shared this story on here, but I've shared it in classes before. I was driving down the road the other day. Have you guys ever seen like the sheriff's stop thing that like calculates how fast you're going and it like flashes a light?
It always flashes at me.
Okay, so it says, I'm driving past this the other day and it says the speed limit is 35 miles an hour and I'm doing like 60, right? So
you are not.
Probably.
That's a big ticket.
But it's like, okay, but here's the point of my story. It starts flashing red and blue lights, right? And it says, you're 60 miles an hour, slow down. But there's no consequence.
There is a freaking consequence.
No, there isn't.
If there's a cop
There's no cop there.
Listen.
It's a machine.
Let me ask you this.
Tiffany, hold on. There's a machine telling me that I am breaking the law.
No.
But there's no consequence.
No, that shit makes
Why
me
would
slow
I
down.
slow down?
Because you're an idiot if you don't. Because this is why. Every time our insurance has jumped $300 a month, yes, you heard me, $300 extra a month is because Ryan's speeding. Okay? Now listen. What if that flashed and said, slow down, then it said, ticket equals $597 plus your car insurance goes up $300 a month. Would you slow down?
If you catch me. That's the bottom line
what
question.
What are you,
if
uncatchable?
You catch me. No, there's
what
no
do you
cop.
Mean?
There's no cop
How do you
there.
know there's not a cop?
Because I have freaking eyes, Tiffany.
Because you're on Waze.
But
that
again,
gives you a cop report.
Exactly.
Cop ahead.
But if there's a cop there, you best believe I'm slamming on the brakes and I'm going to drive by and I'm going to wave like a good citizen.
Does anybody use the Waze app? Just put in there like, yes, if you use the Waze app. Now tell everybody what you did with the zombie thing. And is it still stuck on zombie?
Oh my God, I don't even know how to turn this damn thing off.
Oh my gosh.
So for the month of October in Waze, it said like upgrade to zombie mode or whatever and like have a survivalist or a zombie, whatever. So I'm like driving up to a red light camera the other day and it says red light camera ahead. I wonder if zombies can see in color. But now I got this zombie mode stuck in my Waze app.
And
so
it's
every
like
time I drive,
hazard ahead. I mean, not like not like the regular Hasbros of zombies everywhere that you're used to. And it's like talking in zombie voice. And
I can't turn the damn thing off.
Your vehicle's even like this, like
zombie survival vehicle
Jeep. I don't know. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
If any of you guys do. Okay. Do not press the zombie mode.
Yeah, do not press zombie mode. You will be trapped. Yeah, so I view speed limit as a recommendation. So you know what?
Drives me nuts because I have to be the one that goes through all these insurance companies trying to find insurance.
You know what? Here's what I would do as an entrepreneur. Cops just need to have a Square app. They need to have what service do we use?
They do need to have it away. Stripe.
They need to have a way, Stripe. They just need to have a way.
Pay really fast.
You pull me over for speeding, just let me give you my credit card and we'll solve this right now.
It is super annoying that Ryan slaps this ticket on my desk and I gotta I gotta send a check to like some clerk of the court and then they didn't get it and like all this crap. It's so annoying. But anyway, let's not encourage speeding tickets. Move to the next question, please. And slow the hell down.
Okay, so I can't, Tiffany. I drive fast, leave a sexy corpse.
I'm the one that got this question. Let me answer it, okay? How do I renew my Florida concealed carry permit? I just noticed that it expires in 3 weeks. Okay, As long as you keep your address updated with the Florida Department of Agriculture, you are going to get a letter in the mail approximately 6 months ahead of time before your permit expires. And there's going to be a code in there. And then you can go online. You just punch in Florida Department of Agriculture renew, and you can go online. You can punch in that code, and then you can just pay and renew online. You don't have to go stand in a government office. You don't have to do anything else.
Around 1,000 smelly people.
They will just mail it to you. Here's the problem. If you don't update your address with the Department of Agriculture and you just move around and you don't let them know, or you get the letter in the mail and you're like, this is junk mail, burn it, then you're not going to have your code, and then you're not going to be able to renew it. But if you jump on the Department of Agriculture's website and hit the live chat button, they can give you that code over the live chat, and you can get all set. You don't have to go anywhere, and that's all you have to do. But do it before 3 weeks.
Okay, Lisa says, my sister was killed by a guy not paying attention. What does that mean?
Yes,
not paying attention while driving.
He was killed in an accident. Yes, I believe he was texting.
Oh,
so I think Lisa shared that over email. So
yeah, it's pretty sad, Lisa.
Yes, yeah, and speeding does that too, Ryan.
No,
Just
I don't
saying.
speed. I am motivated.
You speed,
and you've
gotten better.
I have gotten better, yeah.
As you've aged. I think it's kind of more of a younger thing, but maybe not.
It's actually the vehicle. Do you know that?
Really?
It is definitely the vehicle. So
you so baby this vehicle.
Our new GMC that we bought, it's a GMC Yukon. It's so sexy. 24-inch rims. It's like super dope, right?
It is really
But this is a car. When you have this kind of car, you drive that kind of car slow, right? You drive it slow because you want everybody to look at you. It's super sexy.
You want everybody to look at you.
Cruising down. Like
so you kind of have your seat a little back and you're like, yeah.
I'm driving by the landscapers working on the yard today, and I'm like, what's up?
And let's be honest.
Cool little peace sign.
Nobody notices you.
Everybody notices. But my truck, I drove my truck the other day for the first time in a while.
It like crazy?
Dude, as soon as we got out of the neighborhood, me and Link, I freaking floored it, fishtailed it. And I was like, Link, I thought, because my truck is very loud. The exhaust is loud.
Yeah, we don't know anything about vehicles, but when we bought this truck, it had like an upgraded exhaust. So it's like...
when you touch the gas, it like is gone like a rocket,
but it's rear-wheel drive, so it like spins out all the time.
Yeah, it does. So when we go to get on the freeway, like with the GMC, I'm slowly speeding up, right? Because that's like, this is class, right? This is high-end stuff. With the truck, we freaking floored it, man. And Lincoln, the whole time we're on the freeway, is like, Dad, can you make the engine do that thing? And I was like, yeah. Floored it. Took off. It was awesome.
Oh my gosh.
So
not allowed to drive the truck again.
It's definitely the vehicle. I feel like I have an obligation to society to drive the truck faster.
No. None of this is true. Move on. Oh my gosh.
Okay, you answered this question already.
Yeah. So bottom line is you can do it online.
This guy
got the shit kicked out of him.
He decided that he was going to burglarize a home.
Oh.
But then he got the shit kicked out of him by the homeowners as they rearrange his face.
Super awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
I mean, let's just say, like, listen, I don't wish it upon anybody except for the person that's breaking into your
criminals?
house.
Yeah, we wish
insane.
violence and evil things on criminals because you chose. Like, listen, remember that one cop that came into our gun store and he was like,
I remember him still like 11 years later.
If somebody tries to rape you, the bad guy chose to die. When they decided to rape a woman.
Yeah.
If this scumbag decides to break into your house, this guy had 2 handguns on him and decided he was going to commit a violent, evil act on those homeowners. But the homeowners violently beat the crap out of him.
Yeah, I agree.
And maybe this guy's going to sit in jail and realize, like, maybe this isn't what I want to do with my life.
When GMC is one step above a Buick. You know what? I love Buicks too, so just saying.
No, my GMC is dope, Florida Sheepdog.
We're GMC lovers.
Bose sound system, it's freaking amazing.
Isn't it? Is it Bose or is
Bose,
it?
yeah.
Whatever. I don't know anything about vehicles, but the
GMC
is very snazzy.
I got the best compliment. I told Tiff, I was like, I got the best compliment today. And she's like, what happened?
So I'm thinking this is like some kind of great compliment, right? Listen what he tells me.
Okay. So me and Lincoln, we like crank the bass up in the GMC, right? And we're listening to like some heavy bass music, right? So again, like 24-inch rims, this truck is dope. So we're sitting at a red light, we're like cranking some music, and this black dude pulls up. We're in a bad area of Tampa, near our Tampa office. This black dude pulls up in this car, And I'm like sitting there and I look over and the dude's like,
That's all I did.
yeah, I was
And
like,
Ryan's like, yes!
that's the best
Nailed it!
Best compliment I've gotten in a long time,
Finally
dude.
made it in life. I'm like, so you pulled up to a red light and somebody said to you, and this is the best compliment that you've ever received?
It
Like,
was awesome.
what world are we living in?
I don't know, man. I was listening to 50 Cent and I got this dude's approval.
When you were laying on the couch the other night and I walked up to you and rubbed your leg and went,
That's not the same. It's not the same, Tiff. Not the same.
oh, he was hitting on you?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. No, that wasn't it.
Funny.
What else happened? What was the other big story I said we got to make sure I talk about on the live tonight?
Oh.
We talked about that thing, about the... Damn, what was it? We're going to remember it as soon as we turn this thing off.
Probably. I don't know. Go on to the next one. Did he offer you drinks?
No. Okay, so here's another question about Florida concealed carry. So what happens if you don't update your address on your Florida concealed carry license? I just moved, but moving again soon. Is it like a driver's license where you need to update in a certain time frame?
Yes. Let me address this as well because it goes with the other one. There's not a certain time frame.
Yeah, 30 days.
There is?
You have 30 days to update the state of Florida of your address change.
There you go. You got 30 days. But you want to update your address because that's where you're going to get your renewal letter with that code where you can easily renew online and you don't have to go back into the office. So it's update your address, let them know where you're at.
It's super easy. It takes like 2 minutes.
And a
It's
lot
about
of
as
people
long as it
think,
took me to get Tiff pregnant.
oh my gosh, there's a big misconception too. A lot of people think that there's like this live database where people can look up or that the police can look up and see that you have a concealed carry permit. Can you please address that? Because I have people talk about it all the time.
Yeah, so the police can look up if you have a concealed carry permit or not, but it's not when they run your normal driver's license during a traffic stop, they don't see it. They have to actually run it in a separate database to be able to find it. Is that what you're asking?
Yes, that, and is there like an open database for people? Talk
No,
about
it's
how
not public
illegal.
record. Yeah, it's not public record. So the only way to access, like, if I wanted to figure out, okay, Michelle Knight, does Michelle Knight have a concealed carry permit in Florida? The only way somebody could ever figure that out is if they actually had not a warrant. What the hell is it called? They have to have a court order from a judge saying you need to tell this person that Michelle Knight has a permit or does not have a permit. But it's not public record. It's not like owning a house where anybody can just Google how much did Ryan Thomas pay for his house or what's their address. I shouldn't even put this in people's minds,
and when
right?
cops pull you over as well, they punch in your driver's license number. They don't just see that you have a concealed
It's
carry
not attached
permit.
to your license
Everybody
plate.
thinks that it's attached to your license plate. It's attached to your driver's license. It is not. And I don't think any cops, I mean, very few, unless they find a firearm in your car on you when they pull you over and they say, are any weapons in the car? And you're like, yeah, there's one right here in my waistband. And they're like, don't touch it. And then they want to look up to see if you have a concealed carry permit. Then they can access that. But listen, they do thousands of traffic stops. They don't do that. They just run your license. They couldn't care less if you have a concealed weapons permit or not.
Yeah.
They really couldn't. Unless you have a firearm in the vehicle and they want to find out, it's on you and they want to find out if you're legitimate, if you say you don't have your concealed carry permit on you.
Yeah.
Which, let's just discuss this too, because
Ooh, man.
you know where I'm going with this, don't you? Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Smarter than I look, Tiff.
So I can't. So I keep getting these people that are like, I don't need a permit. Second Amendment. I'm not applying for a permit. Second Amendment. And I'm like, okay, but tell that to the cop that pulls you over and arrests you.
Tell that to the judge during your
Tell
court
that to the
proceedings.
judge
We'll see
during
what
your court,
happens.
because if you have a firearm on you and you're carrying concealed in the state of Florida and you do not have a concealed carry permit, you can say Second Amendment all you want. And guess what? You're still going to get arrested. You're still going to go to court.
We have these
still gonna have to
people
deal
in
with
our class every week.
all the
And these are
time.
the guys standing there, like, with their eyes watering up, and they're like, after everybody leaves, right, they hang out, and they're like, yeah, bro, the real reason that I'm here is I got caught about 3 weeks ago or over the weekend or whatever it is. I had a gun on me, and I didn't have my license.
Yeah.
My attorney's telling me that I'm looking at, maybe a year in jail.
Yeah.
Do you think by getting my permit now, it'll help me avoid going to jail? And I'm like, I tell them, what to do and how to do it or whatever. But if that's what you want to deal with, then freaking go for it, man. Roll the dice. We don't care.
Listen,
Tiff and I don't care what you do.
Listen, it's not very hard in the state of Florida to get a permit. I understand. A lot of you want constitutional carry, and I agree, but that is not something that's happening right now. So, get a permit, carry legally, because you can scream to the top of your lungs, Second Amendment, all you want at the judge. They're still going to book you. You're still going to have to hire a lawyer. You're still going to have to pay thousands of dollars in fees. You may lose your rights, and you're going to go through a lot of hell just because you saw somebody make this post about Second Amendment.
Yeah.
It
It's
is what it is.
It's too easy in Florida
It
to get your
is.
permit and do it the right
It's
way.
a must-issue state. So as long as you don't have, any felonies and you can check off a couple boxes, I mean, you can get a permit. You're going to get approved. This is not like New York where they're going to interview 3 closest relatives and 3 closest friends, and they're going to go
take
through
a urine sample and
go through this whole year-long process to get a permit. It's very easy. So just go the legal route, get your permit. Plus, when you have a permit, you can legally carry in 37
Here's
other
what's
states.
interesting that a lot of people don't actually understand is that the Florida Stand Your Ground law does not apply to people who are actively committing a crime. So that's a
This
5th
is
requirement.
true. Yeah.
So if you have a firearm and you don't have a concealed carry permit, but you're carrying the gun, the Florida Stand Your Ground law actually does not apply to you.
Yeah.
So if somebody comes up and tries to stab you, you don't actually have a legal right to defend yourself against that person.
Wow.
Because you are actively committing a crime.
Wow.
So just think about that.
That's a big eye-opener.
People are too stupid. They don't understand that.
Something to think about.
Yeah.
I mean, all right. What do you got next, buddy?
Okay, so this is a violent carjacking. This woman got ripped out of her car right in Tampa. And it just goes to show that you have to really keep your head on a swivel, pay attention to what's happening around you at all times. What?
And doors locked. Why are doors not
You'll
locked?
see when you watch the video.
Okay.
Ready?
The moment he threw me in the floor, I thought about my life, my kids.
She feared the worst.
Thank God he didn't
She
shoot
was
me.
hanging out.
It's 20 seconds. Jennifer Rivera replays in her head. She was getting ready to go pick up her daughter Sunday. One of her neighbor's surveillance cameras shows Rivera open her car door. Then seconds later, 2 young boys walk by. One of them walks over to Rivera as she's in her car.
And asked me, ma'am, do you have a charger? I look at his face, and I told him, no, I don't.
Rivera says she was about to close the door when the boy lifted up his shirt, showing a gun.
I told him, are you for real? He said, yes.
Rivera says he took the gun out of his pants and pressed it against her side.
And he said, I told you get off your car. So he grabbed it from my hand and threw me on the floor.
He closed the door. Rivera got up, tried to open it, but he drove off. The other boy ran. You can see him in Rivera's surveillance camera.
My cell phone was inside my car.
Rivera and her partner used the Find My iPhone app and shared that location with police.
No.
Rivera knows this could have ended differently.
And my
What are your thoughts on that situation?
Did I see that right? Like she was doing stuff in her
Getting
car.
into her
He came
car.
in
So the
and
guy
showed
came up and he
gun.
was like, hey, do you have a charger? And the lady said, no, I don't have a charger. Like, it's a weird thing to ask for, right? No, I don't have a charger. And then the guy was like,
Showed his gun.
get out of your, showed the gun, get out of your
And
vehicle.
she had kids in the car.
I don't believe so because the kids were not in the vehicle when the vehicle was taken and she didn't have time to actually get the kids out.
Okay.
Yeah. So what would you do in that situation? If you saw that
Nothing.
situation
Take my
happening to
car.
an innocent
Take my
person,
car.
take it.
Take it. Because the car isn't worth it, right? The car's not worth it. It's not getting. It's not worth getting shot over your car getting taken. Like I understand it sucks. I understand it hurts. I understand like freaking is a massive inconvenience, right? And her cell phone's in there. Like, what are you gonna do? You're left on the side of the road or the street, whatever it is. It is not worth because you and I have seen, over this many years of researching stories and hearing students share stories, we've seen what people will kill for.
Oh my God, dude. $11. I watched this dude
and
get
it's
stabbed
scary.
to death for $11.
Yeah, and it's scary. So, you know what? You want to take my car? It's insured. That's what insurance is for, right?
But the lesson here is keep your head on a swivel.
Yes, 100%.
When things don't make sense, like who in their right mind is going to come up and be like, hey, bro, you got a charger? Get lost.
Yes, but no. Because, get lost. But then they, have a gun right away. Like, you can still be caught off guard very easily. Like, let's be honest here and really think about it. You can keep your head
I
on
am
a
being
swivel.
honest. One of my nicknames is Captain Honesty.
Okay, you can keep your head on a swivel, but you can still very easily drink more wine, Tiff. Be caught off guard, right? By somebody just You think that that's super odd. I wouldn't think it was super odd if somebody said, hey, you got a charger.
No, people ask me all the time for chargers. I think it's the weirdest damn thing ever.
Yeah, I do think it's weird, but
Yeah.
I don't think that it's absurd. I don't think it's a huge red flag. I don't think like, ooh, get my gun ready because somebody's asking for a charger. That's not the first thing that comes to my
Somebody
mind.
approaches me while I'm standing in my vehicle. I am thinking there's an attack coming. So I call this closing the gap.
Yes,
So imagine
I know you do.
one of the terms in self-defense is called, or one of the strategies is called close proximity negates skill. When an attacker is far away, it's very difficult for them to launch into a violent attack against you, right? They've got to have a legit reason to get close to close the gap, because if they're close, it's very simple to launch into that violent attack.
Yeah.
And some of the strategies that my student or bad guys have used to attack my students in the past is, hey, do you have any spare change? Remember we had a woman get attacked at Burlington Coat Factory in Tampa. Is that what it's called? No, Michael's in Tampa, right off Dale Mabry. Michael's, a craft store.
Burlington, I get kind of, yeah.
Okay, so this homeless guy approached her in a wheelchair, asking if she had any spare change. This woman thought, dude's in a wheelchair. What the hell are you going to do to me, right?
I'm right there with her.
As she was getting into the vehicle, the guy jumped up, grabbed her, and was able to grab her purse and rob her. Because he used the wheelchair to lower this woman's perception of fear of what was happening, and then he launched into his attack.
Yeah.
Close proximity negates skill. Yeah. We have to think ahead and think, if I can keep a bad guy far away, or a potential bad guy far away, it makes it easier for me to get away. They're going to use strategies like, do you have a cigarette?
I have a problem.
Do you have some change?
Because
can I use your cell phone?
I'm not as rude as you. Like, you have a very easy time saying, whoa, what are you doing? And you're like, stop. Like, you'll say that to someone.
I'll say a lot worse to them, yeah.
You'll be like, don't freaking come any closer.
Just get lost. Back up. Don't come near me.
But I'm like, oh, yes. Like, I'm, like, helpful. And that's just built into me.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker.
Well.
I'm an easy target, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your advice for being, like, middle of the ground?
Okay. Alan says, Ryan looks like a hitman for a moonshine operation. So most people stay back. Makes sense, Alan.
No, but Ryan just seriously, Ryan just looks at him and he's like, I'm not the fucking guy. Like, and you're like, hey. And they
want to know what it is?
They just know and they back up.
It's because I'm loud and I have a loud voice. And I'll say, I am just loud. And I'm very authoritative. Authoritative, yeah.
I think you're authoritative, yes.
Yeah. And I just tell them, like, back up, bro. I'm not the right guy. F off, right? Yeah. And then they're like, yes, sir. And they just walk away.
But I could never tell someone F off.
No.
Ever. No, like, never. Unless they were like...
You should come with me to the Wawa in Tampa, because it happens there a lot.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to be the person that tells somebody
Lincoln,
F off,
every time we pull into that Wawa...
Listen, there's more people like me. Come on.
Yeah, true.
Help a sister out. There's more people like me that are, like, never going to tell someone F off.
You need to be rude.
But how do you handle situations like this without being rude?
You have to be rude. That's the point. We're trying to become...
but I just keep thinking about what would Jesus do.
Yeah.
I really do. I'm being honest.
Okay.
I think about, like, what would Jesus do? And I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to die today because I was helping someone give change, then...
If Jesus would have been a little more like me, maybe he wouldn't have been killed.
Wow. Take it back.
I do take it back.
Take it back.
That was a bad joke.
That was not okay. I'm so sorry, Jesus. That was so mean. He laid down his life. He laid down his life. That was not funny. Okay. Seriously, I'm asking from, like, what would your advice be to a person like me who's a lot...
Yeah, so
maybe I have to be more vigilant.
Yeah, it's about becoming a hardened target. Like, bad guys they're looking for the weak, the young, the sick, the old. They're looking for the easy victims, right? And we want to make sure bad guys, when they look at a single mother with their kid and they perceive that single mother with a 4-year-old kid as an easy victim, I want the bad guy to look at that woman and say, that's not the right woman. Like, that woman's a pain in the ass. That if I attack her, that's going to be she's going to put up a big fight. That's what we're trying to do, right? And we have to show them that very quickly. So we have to so like Jay says, is Jesus turned the tables on money changers.
I know.
Here's one of the things that bothers me with Christianity. Jesus was a gangster. Jesus was hard freaking core, man. Remember when Jesus went to the temple and he saw like the evil people selling animals and using the place of worship as a place of business?
Yeah.
The Bible says that Jesus sat down and made a whip. Making a whip is not something that you do in like 5 minutes. Jesus sat there and he was like, oh yeah? Well, wait till I get I'm going to show you, bro. Like, wait till this is done. He sat there, he did it, and then he whipped the crap out of people. Flipping tables over, going nuts. So anyway, I think Jesus was an epic badass, but people try to pussify him, but he was not that. He was definitely not a pussy. He was hardcore.
Yeah, and I mean, he, in the end, he laid down his life on purpose.
Which is a gangster thing to do.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. So I think maybe the answer is to people like me who are not going to speak out and who are going to kind of be an easier target, to just be more aware of our surroundings, so that if I am going to give money, I can just slide it through like the little crack in the window.
Right, and listen, I'm all about giving money to homeless people and helping.
Yeah.
Like me and the kids gave $50 to a lady the other day because I felt like God was telling me to do it. Mm-hmm. But there's other people that I'm like, no, I'm not giving you money because you look very able-bodied. Go work, right? Mm-hmm. Like Michael Jordan has a very famous quote that I absolutely love. Michael Jordan says, if you can stand on a corner and ask for money, then you can say, welcome to McDonald's, how can I help you?
This is true.
That's it, bro. If you can stand on a corner and make a sign and ask for money, you can go get a job. It's that simple. Yeah. So anyway, I'm all for helping homeless people, but we also have to have layers of protection to protect ourselves. Mm-hmm. Because there's a reason they're homeless. Yeah.
Mostly it's because of addiction. But anyway, anything else?
No, I don't think so.
That's
okay,
it.
so here's the last one. Last
everything?
question. So Linda, I've been talking to Linda over text a lot today.
You were talking to her?
Yeah, I was.
Oh.
Lots of times. She's like, I'm super scared to go to my beginner's guide class scheduled next week. Any advice to not be scared?
Aww.
You're actually probably going to be a little nervous, Linda. You're probably going to be a little bit scared.
And you're in good company.
Yeah.
Just
There's
saying.
going to be a lot of people there that are nervous and scared.
Most people are scared and nervous.
But here's what separates highly successful people from highly unsuccessful people. Tiffany and I are doing something right now that is very scary.
We're scared.
Not on the live stream.
We're scared all the time.
But something that we're doing in business that is scary.
We're scared.
But guess what? Even though I'm scared, I'm still doing it. So even though I'm nervous and I don't know what I'm doing, we hired a mentor and a guide who said, Ryan, do this, this, and this. And guess what? Even though I'm scared about doing those 3 things, I'm just doing it. And then whatever happens, happens. I really don't care, right? So the truth of the matter is, Linda, we're all scared.
And you've already done the first thing. You've hired a guide, right? You've hired Ryan to walk you through this and be your trainer. And he's been doing this for a long time. And he's had a lot of students that have been very, very scared. Some crying, some hysterical.
Today, a woman tried to leave and quit. She put the gun down. I said, you're not putting the gun down. Pick it back up. Yeah. And I said, finish shooting. And this lady, I've actually never had to do this before. Hold your hands out. So like you're shooting. I actually had to hold her back and I had to hold her hands and I just said, pull the trigger. Okay. And she pulled it. And then I said, pull the trigger again. Okay. And then she did it. And I said, do it again. And
because she had to realize that it wasn't going to hurt her.
What she had to realize is the reason the gun feels so powerful right now is because you don't have a good grip and you're not standing up straight. So now me holding her back and not allowing her to lean backwards, which is what subconsciously a lot of people try to do. Yes. And then I'm squeezing her hand so it's nice and tight. And then she subconsciously realized this actually works. And then she said to me, she's like, she goes, I'm mad that I'm not doing very good. And I said, are you bleeding? And she's like, well, no. So okay, then you did good. Because
when you do anything for the first time, second time, third time, you have to know that you are going to suck. And you have to be okay with sucking. That's the way it works. Everybody sucks at first.
And the second time you do it,
you're going to suck a little less.
And the third time?
A little less.
And by the 6th time, you're going to suck so little that you might actually be good.
And you might actually enjoy it. And that's the thing.
And by the 10th time, you're going to suck so little that you are good. Yeah. And then it's just going to become very, very easy.
Yes. And you have to be with everything in life, not just with shooting, with everything in life, you have to be okay with sucking at it first, because it's gonna happen. And the people that don't want to suck at things never start new things, never accomplish anything, because they're not okay with themselves with sucking at first. But guess what? Everybody sucks. The first book or the first Amazon site, whatever it was, it sucked, right? That's just the way that it is. So you have to get okay with sucking, and you have to be okay with just going through that learning curve of things.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you're never going to do anything.
The big advice I would have to you, Linda, is there's two types of people that sign up for my Beginner's Guide to Firearms course. There are people that pay me and don't listen to anything that I say, ever.
Those people hurt.
And I don't understand why they pay me any money, because
they know it all.
They know it all. I had a guy like that today. I was just like, it doesn't matter what I say to this person. He knows everything already.
I know.
He's wasting his time. He should never sign up for any classes that I have, because I cannot help you. If you're not willing to let me coach you and teach you, I cannot help you. But then there's other people that sign up, like Lisa on here and Terry. So those are people that bought the course. They paid a lot of money for the course. They bought it.
Yeah.
They listened to everything that I say, even though they might think that it's a little bit silly. But they listen anyway, and they just do it. And then they get a great result, and they're like, oh, wow, I actually feel confident now. Yeah, because you did what I told you to do.
Yeah, totally, 100%. So let me just give you guys one word of advice, okay? Be coachable. Not just with shooting, but with everything in life, okay? If you're having trouble in your marriage, be coachable. Find somebody who's successful in their marriage. A friend, a coworker, whatever it is, a neighbor, and ask questions and be coachable. Because if they're doing something and they're reaching a success that you don't have, listen to what they have to say and be coachable.
And even if it doesn't make sense what they're doing, the reason it doesn't make sense is because your level of understanding is very low and their level of understanding is very high. So yeah, there's lots of things that I coach some of my guys with that I say to them, and they're like, well, I don't understand how that works. You're right. You're not supposed to understand, because your level of understanding is down here, and I'm telling you that this is a different level. So
thank you, Joe. We appreciate you.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
Yes. So just as we sign out, okay, word of advice for everything, for business, for shooting, for marriage, for everything in your life. Be coachable. Don't be the person that knows it all and is not willing to learn, because as soon as you open up your mind and you're willing to learn, you'll actually experience change in your life, and you'll experience these, great gifts in all these areas that you are not aware of, because you are coachable and willing to listen. It's the number one problem that a lot of people have.
It's the number one problem in life everywhere. Why people get stuck.
And it's hard because, we want to think that we're doing good and we know a lot. But if you're struggling with your finances, find somebody who's good with their finances and listen to what they're doing, or, anything. So anyway,
somebody is asking, I don't know how to say your name, AR-15 Builder's book available. Yes, go to AR-15secrets.com.
Yeah.
And you can get the AR-15 Secrets book. You got to move the cursor, Tiff.
I will. Oh, what? Oh, I'll be so kind as to add that in the chat for you. Thank you so much, everybody. Do you want to just put up your Florida Concealed Carry Law book? Because we'll just... Are you doing it?
Yeah. No, it's not on there.
Oh.
Yeah, so Joe says, when I met Ryan, I realized I didn't know everything. None of us know everything, right? I have coaches that I pay a tremendous amount of money to every single year.
I have coaches.
So, I'm on, people don't know this, but I'm on Zoom training calls learning. How many hours a day? I have another hour I have to do today before I go to sleep.
7+ hours a day. And Ryan and I have taken, marriage courses. We've taken all kinds of things, because what we want to do is what's called shortening the learning curve. You're learning from somebody else who has been successful.
I don't want to be 60 years old before I figure this shit out. I want to figure this out
Maybe
now.
that's with your kids. Maybe you're trying to figure out how to get your kids on the straight and narrow. Find somebody else who has kids on the straight and narrow and ask them how they had to do it. So
Yeah. Awesome,
there's a lot of things. There's so many things in life, and the best thing that we can do.
How do you get promoted?
Yeah.
How do you get promoted at your job?
Yeah.
Find somebody who
more
already
money
got
at a side
promoted
job.
and ask them, what do you do? Eric Baum on here. Eric Baum's like a bomb business dude, right? So when I met Eric at the range and I found out you're a highly successful entrepreneur, you guys want to know what I did? I said,
go for
Eric,
lunch.
Eric, can I take you to lunch, bro? Because I want to talk to you.
Yeah.
I want to see what you're doing.
Yeah.
I want to figure out how to steal your credit.
No, but you just want to learn from them, right?
Yeah.
And that's and this is the thing. people that are successful in the area of life that you want to be successful in, they're willing to share that with you. And that's the cool thing. You know, you find somebody who's had a marriage for 60 years, you'd be silly. A happy marriage. You would be silly to not say, hey, can my wife and I have lunch with you and ask you a few questions and sit down and say, what's made your life, you know, your marriage successful? You'd be silly because they'll give you that advice for free, right? And share those great nuggets with you. So anyway,
Thanks for watching, guys.
Be
We
coachable.
appreciate you. Be coachable.
See you next Monday.
Peace.
I am a sheepdog.
I have a subconscious and moral burden
to protect and help the people around me.
I believe in safety, responsibility,
and the God-given right to defend myself and others
from the wolves who seek to steal, kill, and destroy.
I defend the Second Amendment
by properly representing what it means to be a gun owner.
I will put aside my doubts,
my fears, and my excuses.
I will be trained, I will be ready,
I will be confident, and I will be prepared.
While some sheepdogs are born, most are made.
Becoming a sheepdog is a choice,
a new way of thinking, and a new identity.
An alter ego that you must step into.
We are patriots.
We are defenders of liberty.
We protect those we love.
We are sheepdogs.